Hey everybody, what's happening? Early in the morning, around 6 a.m. Making a little video because I've been up to some different things and just thought I'd like to share with everybody. Try not to wake everybody in my house up. But anyways, I'm here today to talk about my zero carb experiment extravaganza. So yeah, I wrote some stuff down, and basically I'm at the 20-day mark now, but I just wanted to share my experience with this because I've stuck to it. This time I've been more disciplined than the following attempts at this, and I'm finding the benefits are pretty immense at the moment. So I'm just gonna go from my why I did this. What kind of made me want to pursue something crazy like this. But so one of the reasons I wanted to try this style of eating / elimination diet was due to constant congestion, man, in my nose. Like, I have never had my allergies tested, but I've never really been able to narrow down what it is. I know dairy's a no-no for me. I've had, with a few exceptions, I've had dairy on its own from different sources and it's been okay, but most of the time it's no good, so I just avoid it 99% of the time. So the nose congestion has been something I've always been curious about what it is. Is it a histamine thing? Is it dietary related, something I'm eating? Is it my environment? I've heard it could be numerous things like EMF from phones, the 5G, all kinds of shit like that. So I'm not sure, but until I narrow down my diet, I don't know. So I've got to finish up the eggs that I have now, and then I'm gonna do a week of solid just meat and salt and see where that takes me. Grass-fed beef, local farmer, got a whole freezer full, so got a large amount. And then another reason why I wanted to try this was slight, very subtle digestive strain or discomfort after a mixed meal. So typically I try and keep my meals very simple and straightforward, and I usually don't like to mix carbs with protein and fat in the same meal because they digest in a different medium, right? So without getting too into depth with it, I just noticed some weird kind of strain in my lower bottom of my stomach, a bit of like a pressure and this weird kind of pressure in there after having starch like sweet potato, rice, different starches with my meal. I always have the starch at the end of the meal. I just find, for me personally, digest better that way if I don't mix and match my food in the same meal. So the starch, the discomfort, and another reason why. So I'm just going off of like almost no sleep here, coming off the night shift, and then jump back into Ontario. So it's everything's all scrambled right now. So bear with me. But my athletic performance was another concern, right? So, I've always been like, oh yeah, you need carbs. And certainly if you're a top level athlete, I find, at least for glycolytic activities, carbs are necessary. But who goes there? But anyway, someone's spying on me in the house. I think it's the cats. But anyways, carbs can be pretty necessary for high intensity, athletic performance. So I wanted to see what would happen if I got rid of them. And so that is one of the main reasons I'm trying this, just to see how my performance either flourishes or suffers. So that's the real test for me personally, is can you perform just as good or better with the absence of carbohydrate in the diet. We all know about gluconeogenesis, things like that, and running on fat. It's been an interesting experience, so. And then the last reason why, I'm already 5 minutes in, oh my god, but the last reason why that I could think of right now is the importance of eating seasonally. Like, I think this is very underrated, and to be quite honest, it doesn't make sense to be eating bananas and summer foods in the winter. It would never have happened. Even if you look back probably 100 years ago, that didn't happen. When the supermarkets came, all that kind of stuff came in, right? And that was just inevitable, right? It came in, and then the farming and all that stuff. So if you look at an ancestral viewpoint of that, I would like to think that typically we would eat, more vegetables and fruits in the summer when they were available based on our geographical location, right? Versus, just going to the superstore and grabbing all this shit that doesn't even grow in your country. It's coming from miles and thousands of miles away. So I thought this makes sense to be doing from just a logical standpoint. Like, it's not that crazy to really want to eat lots of meat and heavy dense foods. Maybe I could see possibly including some starches because they hold over the winter, so that could be logical in this coming from that viewpoint of eating seasonally, and maybe some cabbage and stuff like that because that kind of keeps for a while, but the root vegetables, things like that. But so that's my why, and wow, it's been 7 minutes already. So my first 2 weeks of this has been crazy, like very shocking to me, but I had zero cravings for shit food the first week and a half, versus like I've done this zero carb, kind of dabbled into it and barely got my toes wet in the past a few times, but I never made it past a week without going in on some fruit or some muffins or something. Just heavy carb dependence, like unbelievable. I don't think it's a bad thing to want fruit, but to want it in excess, maybe there's something more there to it, So you have to listen to your body, but at the same time, it's good to maybe know where these cravings and inclinations are actually coming from, So is it out of necessity or is it want, So anyways, wicked cravings typically, but the first little bit there, nothing. So satisfied. I was eating ribeye steak, I was eating liver, I was eating liverwurst, all local pasture raised stuff from BC. It cost me a bloody arm and a leg, but I was eating really well. Duck eggs, these monstrous duck eggs from a local farm, and I'm so full, like after a meal. Typically I eat 1 meal a day, sometimes 2. I'm experimenting with that right now for performance reasons, but usually just 1 meal a day, and then I'll throw a fast in, a 48 occasionally. Just right now my goal isn't to be doing a whole bunch of fasting, even though I'm rocking the snake diet shirt because I am a huge proponent of fasting, but I'm not going too crazy. I'm pretty lean, and I'm not trying to lose any more weight at this moment. So I haven't lost much weight, by the way. I've been 170, give or take 3 pounds the whole experiment so far. So getting off track here. So the first 2 weeks have been exceptional. Calmness, a zen-like state. I know it sounds funny, but almost nothing I should say, has pissed me off. Like, I'm not exaggerating when I say this. I typically have a bit of some stuff can tick me off. I'll let things get to me. I know it's totally unnecessary, and that's no way to live your life, is to let things bother you all the time. It's not a healthy way, and that stuff will kill you, the stress. And it just builds up. It's a snowball effect, right? So anyways, just this calmness. Nothing's pissed me off. Everything's just kind of floating on by. So that's really interesting. And I'm not trying. Like, I'm not even, to be honest, I'm a practicer of Vipassana meditation, and I've spent a lot of time meditating. But I have gotten away from it. I need to get back to it. But I haven't been meditating, and I'm just so darn calm. So I find that pretty powerful. So yeah, my mindset has been really positive, a little more than normal, and I'm just absolutely focused. So these are some really, really powerful things. Placebo, I don't know, but I'm not trying, and I'm not focusing on anything. I'm just living presently, and it's been good so far. So first 2 weeks have been amazing. Climbing performance, I'm just getting into the sport of rock climbing. I used to climb when I was little, just as a hobby occasionally, with my parents at a local climbing gym. But it was nothing serious. But now I've gotten the bug, and I'm pretty much hooked on it. And of course, with this epidemic going on right now, I'm not going to say the C word. No one wants to hear it anyways. But I spent probably a month straight in the gym, just every other day, and then taking days off, extra days when I needed it. But my climbing progression has been, to me, what seems to be pretty linear, and it's been pretty, like, I'm surprising myself. Top roping, I've done a 512D and a couple 511s. Sorry, a 511D. Don't want to overstate my skill level. So 511D, and a few 510s of different skill levels. But so I'm progressing, and I'm noticing my confidence on the wall is just is huge. If you have the confidence, I can just go for those moves, and I'm getting stronger. My finger strength is like improving so fast. I'm sure that would be happening, I guess, regardless of diet. Maybe not, I don't know. But my finger recovery and strength is blowing up. Like, it's like day to day I've seen improvements, which is really exciting. So I'm going to go into the 20-day mark. That's where I'm at now. I'm trying to keep this under 15 minutes. I'm at the 20-day mark. I have noticed a bit of heart palpitations the past few days. I'm just coming off night shift, and I was on nights for the period of this whole experiment so far. So I'm coming back to days in Ontario. I was in British Columbia for a while doing some work. So I'm back on days. I'm off work right now, so I have time to just let my body rest and sleep, and be in a cycle with the sun as we're supposed to be. So I don't know if that's having some effect on the heart and the heart rhythm. I know typically it's to do with electrolytes being out of whack, so I'm monitoring that. But I'm getting in potassium, getting in sodium, the three main electrolytes, and I'm checking to make sure I'm getting magnesium in. So I might have to supplement that if things get a little funky here. And occasionally, it's happened twice now, if I have a super, super high protein meal, I notice I get some like pressure in my fingertips. Not really pain, but pressure in my fingertips and in my feet. So if that might be the uric acid thing. This did happen to me a few times last time I did this experiment, but it hasn't happened up until the last few days. So I'm going to monitor that and play around with protein to fat ratio, and see, right? Because if anybody knows about that, please let me know. Any experienced carnivores or meat eaters out there, let me know if you've experienced that and what I could do to negate that or adjust it. So bowel movements have been good. No poop problems here. Every few days, sometimes every other day, but it's a big adjustment period. And I haven't had any diarrhea, so I don't know what everybody has these explosive diarrheas. You've heard of the big, some Joe Rogan and basically a lot of people that have podcasts and stuff. They openly talk about that, but I have yet to experience that. So I think that's a pretty good sign, I guess. So my meal frequency, I've talked about it earlier in the video. It's usually been one meal a day. And I'm climbing and training fasted. But I have noticed the last time I trained, I couldn't go to the climbing gym because it's closed. So I trained in a fed state. So I had like almost a whole pack of bacon, and then a few hours later, I was sitting around at home and I was pretty bored, and I thought, oh, you know what? Let's do something useful. I went to the gym and I had an insane workout, like out of this world, explosive. I've one arm pull-ups. I'm working on that right now, so I could almost get 3. Obviously not completely one arm, but like with my assisted with my left arm. So I'm just increasing or decreasing the tension based on how I'm progressing through this. But it's a slow process with the one arm pull-ups, but I'm getting stronger, certainly stronger on my right side, so I got to try and even both sides out. Important for climbing to have that strength. So yeah, one arm pull-ups. I haven't done bench press in a while, so I was ripping out some bench press reps, some dips. I just felt amazing, like in just a huge pump. Like I got a big pump that I would normally get when I have carbs. So that right there told me that this can be done. I think optimally to have a meal closer to my workout is the best, to be honest. But for climbing, I'm not sure yet. I'm not of a high level of climbing yet, so I think I can get away training fasted. I find the top ropes and the longer routes are not very glycolytic until you get up there, up to the very challenging part, the crux they call it. But I've been using my legs and trying to use them to help me climb efficiently, and I find I can get up there to the top of most of the climbs without being too pumped, and my performance has been good. So I'm going to play around with meal frequency and see how that affects my progression, my training, things of that nature. So pretty impressed so far with how the workouts have been, the ones where I've eaten before, but I typically don't like eating more than once a day. But for performance reasons, I'm going to try 2 meals a day occasionally. It's not a religion, right? I'm open to different things. I still promote fasting. I still am going to be doing some extended fasting in the near future. But right now I'm focusing on this experiment. I'm trying to just go, I'm not trying to have a certain rigid kind of structure to it. I'm just trying to be open and free and play around with things. Yeah, so I think that's basically all I have to say right now. So general motivation has been pretty kick-ass to do stuff. Yesterday, since this whole stuff going on, they say, they don't want people hanging out with each other, which sucks, unfortunately, but gives you some time to work on yourself and get stuff done. So I cleaned the whole garage out, man. I had all this shit in the garage. I filled up my whole truck full of garbage and old dirt bike and boots and chains and steel from welding and all this stuff. So I loaded it up and got it all done, and I did it in a blink of an eye. Cleaned my room, some shit that you never want to do. But anyways, my motivation has been crazy. And another thing, this is kind of out of the topic of carnivore, but this no-fap stuff, man. So I'm not against getting it on with a significant other, but other than that, keep the funky stuff and the porn to a minimum. And I know this, man, it's powerful. Like, the sexual energy is not a joke. You harness that and you release it when you need to, and realizing the serious power of this, the benefits of fasting, positive mindset, this zero carb stuff that I'm experimenting with. All these things combined are making me feel like an absolute beast, and I don't know, I'm just ready to kick some ass. Cold showers too. I'm doing all that. If I had access to the sauna right now, I'd be in there too, but everything's closed down. So anyways, that's my carnivore / zero carb eating approach. Oh yeah, and I'm eating lots of red meat and eggs and things. I never really talked about that, but so that's my experience so far. I know I jump all over the place, but there's no real script. I wrote a few things down, and so I'm just going kind of scrambling here, but that's my experience so far. And comment and subscribe. I'm going to be posting lots of fasting videos, lots of things you can do to benefit yourself and others, and just going to share my experience with rock climbing and my life in general. So have a good day, everybody. Peace.